Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another weekly analysis. Now on the screen are the 10 pairs that we'll be analysing today. Before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on the video if you're feeling generous. If you haven't already, join me on my Telegram channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description. So we post a lot of different trading setups throughout the week and you don't be missing out on that, so make sure you go check it out. And also check out my Instagram page, I'll leave the handle there. So we post a lot of different setups, tips, tricks, and just different advice to help you through your trading journey. So make sure you go check all of that out. Links will be in the description. Well, like I said, we've got another weekly analysis, so let me stop talking and let's get into the video. First up, we've got Euro USD. Okay, so for Euro USD on the daily chart, you can see not too much happened this week in terms of direction. We came back to go and test that same resistance that we've been testing for a while now. As you can see, we've got the resistance clearly there, resistance there for those wicks, push the downside, again resistance there, push the downside, again resistance there, push the downside. So last week I was saying with the current price action, it looks like we're probably going to get another test that resistance before we get a swing to the downside. So our bias is still to the downside for USD, only looking for sells, although the market could still push higher. Again, like I said, we do have a nice wick up here, so price could look to go and fill that, continue higher and go and test the resistance up there and break through this area. However, we're only looking for shorts. We're not interested in the buys for USD. So you can see a nice resistance here. We had another push up as expected from last week, and we'll start to get some bearish price action in this area again, similar to what we had here for those wicks. We'll start to get more wicks and bearish candles coming into play at this resistance. So naturally, we'll be looking for some shorts for USD. Potentially go and test the previous low that we had in the market on the daily chart. As you can see, it pushed the downside. We found support from this area, and then we had our push back to the upside to go and test that same resistance. So going to be seeing if we can get a swing to the downside for USD to go and test this low here, and potentially going even further. If we break through that, again, there's a lot of downside potential for USD. You can see we've got the lows all the way down here, support there, big push upside, again support there, big push upside. So potentially if we do get another swing back to the lows here, USD is potentially just moving sideways. As you can see, if I zoom out, we haven't really moved anywhere for the past few months for USD, just been moving sideways, up and down. So USD looking for shorts for next week. Again, nice resistance area, nice price action as well. So we'll be looking for some shorts in this area, targeting the lows down here, or initially a target at the previous low here. But then again, USD still has the possibility to move higher. If that's the case, we'll come up to this area here, and then again we'll still look for some shorts for USD for next week. Next, we're going to take a look at USD JPY. Okay, so for USD JPY, we saw a big push to the downside this week, and we can see why we had that. We had this previous trend line going through the market here. As you can see, previous resistance, push to the downside, resistance the second time, push to the downside, third time, push to the downside, and again fourth time, push to the downside. So that trend line looks like it's holding quite well and is acting as resistance. We did see price break below this support area. As you can see, support broke below last week with the vaccine news, and we saw a big push upside, so it gave us a false breakout, and again we're back below it. So it looks like price it's heading back to go and test the lows where we had support down here. We saw that big bullish candle come into the market there. So again, only looking for longs for USD JPY. We're coming into that area, catch people on the wrong side in the market. So again, but USD JPY does have a little bit of room to move lower. As you can see, the support is down here, so potentially you could see price maybe trickle a bit lower before we see the move back to the upside, go and test that trend line, and now potentially look to have a break of that trend line and go a lot further. Again, if you do see a break of that trend line, probably go and test the 200-minute average, not too far away, and we've got multiple resistance levels. Price could go look to test. We've got one there, and obviously all the way up there. So again, a lot of upside potential for USD JPY. Only looking for the buys next week. Obviously we can remain bearish and then continue and break through that area, but that's the case, we won't be looking to trade USD JPY for next week. Only looking for the longs, and potentially could be seeing USD JPY continue a little bit further to the downside before we see a nice push back to the upside. And next we've got USD CAD. Okay, so for USD CAD on the daily chart, we can see that we did have a push to the upside last week. Now price is like just moving sideways, so not too much movement that we had this week in terms of direction. As you can see, previous support on the daily chart here, nice support, gave us a nice push to the upside. Came to test it again, bit of a false breakout of the wick there on the lower time frames as we spotted last week. But then we got a nice move to the upside, and still treating this moving to the downside as a retrace. As you can see, we're coming back to that same support area that we previously tested. Again, support there, support, and now we're coming into it again. You can see a few wicks to that same support area. So again, could be seeing price maybe trickle down a little bit more and then get a nice push to the upside for USD CAD. So our bias is still to the upside for USD CAD as well, same as last week, only looking for the buys. Again, we still got this trend line running through the market for USD CAD. As you can see, initial test there gave us a nice move to the downside. Second test, move to the downside. Third test with all those dojis, move to the downside. So naturally looking for another fourth test of that trend line, where we can get another move back to the same support, or potentially see a break of it and go and create those higher highs and give us a nice counter trend move to the upside. Potentially go test the resistance up there. So again, resistance here will be acting as resistance again if you do see a break of the trend line, or maybe the 200 moving average, which is not too far away as well. So only looking for the buys for USD CAD. Looks like we've come back to go and test that previous support in the market, then get a nice move to the upside. So that could be a situation, or if we do break through this area again, we could go lower, go test the lows down here where we had that wick, and then see the swing to the upside. So looking for both possibilities. Only looking for longs for USD CAD for next week, and possibly go and test that trend line that we have on the daily chart. Up next is Euro GBP. Okay, so for Euro GBP on the daily chart, you can see we're still having that corrective pattern that we've been having. We've been having this since early September, as you can see, just moving to the downside very slowly and correctively. We're bound to see price breakout soon. Obviously, we don't know when and which direction, but we're probably leaning towards more of a break to the upside. As you can see, we did get a test of our key level going through the market last week, which we were talking about. You can see here a really nice key level going through the market. So again, previous resistance, push the downside, resistance again, push the downside, acting as support, back up again, support, push to the upside, again support, big push to the upside, and support again, push to the upside. So a really nice key level going through the market. It looks like we're still looking bearish and still moving that corrective way. So potentially could see price keep trickling down to go and test the support area again, and either see a nice push to the upside, finally breaking through this channel that we got going through the market, or potentially see price leak further to the downside. So the possibilities are still both, again, really corrective, so not really the best pair to look to trade for next week. If you do see a breakout again, it could be a nice move to the upside, go and test potential highs that we had all the way up here. So again, it could be a really nice move to the upside for Euro GBP if we do see the break. I'll probably just be waiting to see how price is when we move back to the support. So price keeps trickling down. If you do get some strong bullish price action, could look to go along and anticipate a break of that channel that we've been having for Euro GBP for a while now. As you can see with these trend lines, got the lows and highs of price, so kind of still just stuck in this. And then if you do get some nice price action back at the support, could be a nice buy signal to go and break through that channel, probably go and test the highs up here from a daily point of view. So it does have some upside potential, could still leap further to the downside. If that's the case, won't be looking to take any trades for Euro GBP, but again, probably not the best pair to be trading with price action we are getting like that for next week. Okay, so up next we've got AUD USD. Okay, so for AUD USD on the daily chart, we saw a push to the upside in recent days. As you can see here, big push, and from then on we kind of still been pushing higher, but not a lot of momentum in the market there. We're still holding at this previous resistance that we were talking about last week. As you can see, a lot of wicks in this area previously, and gave us a really strong move to the downside. So really nice area of resistance. We're back at that same area again. We tested it last week, I was saying. Still looking for those shorts. We did see a push to the downside, but then last week I said probably going to find AUD go and test it again, because you can see the momentum, but it's not really on our side yet. So you see, did find some support and did see another push back to the upside. We're testing that area of resistance again currently, but again the momentum is not really there. We're going to be seeing strong moves away from this area, similar to these strong moves that we've been seeing recently. But as you can see, we've kind of been having small body candles, a lot of wicks, a lot of indecision. So potentially could see price go and test it again before we do get that swing to the downside. Or there's a possibility of price going higher. We do have wicks all the way up here on the daily chart. As you can see, the wicks there gave us that initial move to the downside. So if we do break through that area, possibilities of going up to the highs up here before seeing the swing to the downside. And that's the case. Again, still looking for shorts in that area. But again, still looking for shorts for AUD/USD, biases to the downside. Probably not the best pair to be trading as of yet. Probably USD is probably looking a little bit better than this one. But again, if you still get a nice opportunity, we'll be looking to take advantage of it and a nice swing to the downside. Again, first target has to be the lows that we previously experienced here, because potentially price could come back here, reject, and then continue higher. So again, first target would be the previous lows that we had here, but potentially there's room to go a lot further. Again, you've got resistance here, as you can see with those wicks will be turned support again, so that could be a second level. And then obviously you've got the lows all the way down here, so that'll be the best case scenario. So price is still to the downside, not looking for any buys for AUD USD next week, and potentially could be seeing a nice move to the downside from this area or potentially up here. Now let's take a look at NZD CAD. Okay, so for NZD CAD on the daily chart, you can see we're having a big push to the upside. So far, price has been really bullish. We did see price go and break through this area of resistance here. As you can see, previous resistance in the market there gave us a big move to the downside to go and test the 200 moving average on the daily chart. And again, we were anticipating some shorts in this area, but you can see we failed to hold at that area and we got a break above. Still only looking for shorts though for NZD CAD. As you know, this is a break of resistance, but again, still looking for those false breakout opportunities as price breaks above, catch people on the wrong side of the market, and we see a drop and a push to the downside, taking out people's stop losses and obviously taking out people on the wrong side of the market. So only looking for shorts for NZD CAD for next week. As you can see, when you do get a breakout of resistance, you want to be seeing big impulsive candles to the upside, not price slowly trickling like that. As you can see, we did get a break and then price has not really found any momentum to the upside, kind of running out of steam. So only looking for the shorts for next week for NZD CAD. Obviously this area will be acting as support, so again have to be watching out for that area. If you do get a move to the downside, potentially have to watch price action in that area. If you do start to see some rejection, could easily see a move back higher. But if we don't and we see strong bearish candles coming into the market, again that's a sign that we're getting a false breakout and could see price go a lot lower. And again, probably going to be seeing price potentially going to test this area in the market. As you can see, previous resistance push the downside, resistance again push the downside, and again resistance again push the downside. So a really nice key level in the market will be acting as support. Again, could be seeing a swing to go and test that area, or potentially even further. You can see the last time we have a swing to the downside, we want to go and test the 200 moving average, so that could be a scenario again. But again, just a nice swing to this area here could be a really nice trade. Only looking for shorts. Of course, if price remains bullish, we could see price continue higher. This is acting as support, like I said, continue higher. If that's the case, I won't be looking to enter in any trades. But if you do get some strong bearish candles come into the market, we'll be looking to take advantage of some shorts and anticipating a false breakout for NZD CAD for next week. Next up, we've got GBP NZD. Okay, so for GBP NZD on the daily chart, you can see we've been having a slow down trend for GBP NZD on the daily. Big push to the upside, back up again, back down, back up again, back down again. So we've been slowly making those lower highs in the market, as you can see with this trend line. So potentially could be seeing another lower high for GBP NZD on the daily chart. And so we do have a really nice support area going through the market here. As you can see, really nice support areas, push the upside again, third time. So again, we could be seeing a fourth time price having another push to the upside. Obviously price can still remain bearish and continue to the downside, but you can see we are moving quite correctly. A lot of bullish candles coming into the market here. We have been making those lower lows and those lower highs, but again it is quite corrective and can easily see a push to the upside for GBP NZD. Again, if you do see a push to the upside, this will be acting as resistance, this trend line here. As you can see, initial test, push to the downside, second test, push to the downside. So it could be seeing a third test and then another push to the downside to go test that support area again. So potentially could be seeing price just continuing to range between that trend line and that support until finally we see a breakout to the upside or breakout to the downside. If you see a breakout to the upside, we could be seeing a longer move, potentially go and test the 200 moving average up there, or potentially go and test the highs that we have all the way up here. So could be a really nice swing trade for GBP NZD if you see a break of the trend line. Obviously, if you see a break of that support, again, price can continue lower. Again, that will be acting as resistance now, and potentially could see price retest it and continue lower. But again, not really interested in the shorts for GBP NZD, I'm interested in the longs. So again, if you see some nice price action in the 4 hour or the hourly, again, the lower time frames, could be looked to capitalize a nice swing to the upside to go and test the trend line at least, or potentially go further and go and create some higher highs and potentially go and test in the highs that we have all the way up there. Next, we're going to move on to CAD JPY. Okay, so for CAD JPY, as you can see, we're clearly just moving sideways here. We've clearly got a support area going through the market like so. Again, you can see support here, push the upside, support, push the upside, support, 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 and support. So really nice support area going through the market. It's held the market since late May. And we do have our trend line up here, creating those slightly lower highs in the market, but keeping the market moving to the downside. As you can see, big push to the downside there, another one there, and again, so far we're having one there. So Interested only in the longs for CAD JPY at this moment in time, but not if we still remain in this area. If you do see price to remain bearish and continue lower and go test the lows down here, again, we'll be looking to go long in this area and capitalizing on another swing to the upside. Again, look out for the false breakouts, as you can see with these wicks catching people on the wrong side of the market here, and also their stops as well, so watch out for that. But again, if you do get a nice swing to the downside here and we continue that bearishness that we're having in CAD JPY, we'll be looking to go long in this area and capitalizing a nice swing to the upside, potentially go and test that trend line again, where we can see price either go break it or give us another move to the downside. So we'll kind of just trap between that trend line and this support, and eventually see price break out either to the upside or to the downside. If we do break to the downside, again, we've got the lows down here we could be looking to go and test. Again, as you can see here, price has tested it many times, so again, that's a really nice support area. We can go test it again if you do break to the downside, and if we break to the upside, we've got highs all the way up here, potentially price can go test. As you can see, this is where we had a double top, test it once, test it twice, moves to the downside. So again, break for that trend line, you can see price go up to go and test the highs up there. So we got targets to either side of price, but right now we're only interested in the long opportunities if we get a nice move to this area and potentially go and test the trend line up there. Up next is GBP USD. Okay, so for GBP USD, you can still see we're bullish on the daily chart. We did see a nice push to the downside. We're still expecting price to continue, but you did see that bullish candle last Friday, and from then we're remaining bullish, and we've seen price making those higher highs and those higher lows on the lower time frames. However, we're back at the same previous resistance in the market here. As you can see, was resistance here, gave us a move to the downside. Now we're back at that same area of resistance, so potentially got a possible double top for us on the daily time frame, and can see a nice swing to the downside. Like I've been saying, we've still got this channel moving through GBP USD here. As you can see, I've connect the highs there and connect the lows of price. So again, you can see a test there, move to the downside, test here, move to the upside, second test, back down again, third test, back up again. Now we test it again, and we test it again. So price is still been moving in this channel, and as long as we are in this channel, only looking for some shorts to the downside. And now we've got a potential double top as well on the daily, so shorts are looking quite nice for GBP USD for next week. Again, capitalizing on a nice swing to the downside, potentially go and test the lower trend line through the market, or potentially price going a lot further, go and test some lows down here. Or of course, you've got the 200 moving average and some support all the way down there. So again, only interested in the shorts for GBP USD. Again, price can go potentially higher. You can break through that trend line, break through that resistance, test it again, continue higher, and go and test the highs up here. As you can see, we did wick into this area up there. So there's still upside potential for GBP USD. However, just not interested in the longs for GBP USD, only looking for some shorts. If price was to break through this area and remain bullish, won't be looking to take any shorts for GBP USD, obviously, and see price continue higher. But if you do get some strong bearish price action coming in this area, we'll be looking for some shorts for GBP USD and capitalize a nice swing to the downside. Initial targets will probably be the recent low that we had here. As you can see, push the downside back up again, so it could easily get rejection and then another move back to the upside. So initial target will be the lows that we previously made here. But if you do break through that, again, we could be seeing a nice test of the trend line, or potentially much further from a daily point of view. So only looking for some shorts for GBP USD for next week, and potentially could be seeing some nice trades in this area. And last, we've got GBP CAD. Okay, so for GBP CAD on the daily chart, we're anticipating a swing to the downside this week, but as you can see, we still remain bullish. However, we're still contained in this channel on the daily chart here. As you can see, initial test there, push to downside, support here earlier, support there again, resistance there, push back down, support, back up again. Now we've tested it again. So again, still looking for those swings to the downside for GBP CAD, but still contained in this channel. And you can see we are still moving bullish, so there's potential for price to climb higher. You can see we do have some support, some resistance up here. You can see we did wick into that area, so if potentially price wants to remain bullish, we could easily get a move to go and test the highs up here, or potentially even further. You can see we do have wicks all the way up there, so price could want to remain bullish and, of course, go and break through that level and continue much higher. But only interested in the shorts for GBP CAD. See a really nice channel in the market, and again, naturally going to expect to swing back to the downside. However, price is just kind of moving a lot of low momentum, so again, probably not the best trade, but if we do get some nice opportunities in this area, could be see a nice swing to the downside. Again, probably aim for the 200 moving average first, because you can see prices respected it quite well recently and gave us that move to the upside from that same 200 moving average. So again, initial target would be the 200 moving average, but if you see price break through that, again, it could be a really nice trade to go and test the lows of this trend line for a fourth test, or potentially go even further and test the lows that we have all the way down there. As you can see, we do really have nice daily support going through the market here. As you can see, support there, push upside, support there, push upside, again support. So if you do see a swing to the downside, we could be seeing a break of this channel and price go even further and see a test of that support. So only look for shorts for GBP CAD for next week, and we're right at the edges of that channel. So again, in that area, could be seeing some early setups on Monday or Tuesday for short trades. But if you do remain bullish, of course you can go much higher. Just not interested in the longs for GBP CAD, only looking for the shorts in that area. Okay, so that is the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on the video. Leave a comment down below the top pairs that you're looking to trade for next week. I'm interested to find out. But like I said, it's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Until the next one, I'll see you later.